Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Multiverse Fundraisers Indie Artist Panel. My name is George Buehler, the Prime Fanatic, host of the Fanatic Forum. Thank you all for joining us here this morning. Of course, this is a outstanding charity podcast that we do once a year here. Our charity of choice, once again for the third year in a row, is Comic Books for Kids, cb4k.org. Just love them to death. Beautiful organization, do great work out there. So we love being able to support them and have a good time doing it here. And of course, to join me having a good time here, we got a couple of indie artists here, both with two very diverse styles here. That's what I really like to have, two different looks for things here. So first to introduce here, Miss Allie Hart. Good to see you.
Allie West, but hi.
Oh, I'm sorry, Allie. Oh, Allie, what a call. I'm so sorry, Allie.
That's okay.
And Jonathan McDaniel, good to see you.
Good to see you. Glad to be here.
Oh, thanks for joining us on here. So, basically, to start off with Allie, what is kind of like your primary influence, or really what kind of got you started with art?
I will apologize. I've lost my audio again for some reason.
Okay. Well, then we'll transfer over to Jonathan here. I don't even know.
Again, that helped last time.
Okay, yeah, let's go for it. All right. So, Jonathan, we'll start with you then. So, what is your primary influence? How did you get started with your art?
Man, when I was little, man, I used to use every kind of medium. Get in trouble for drawing on the walls. My mom, I used to watch her. She used to sketch like nature, scenery, and so stuff of that. That aspect. She also, I don't know. She was like one of my main influences. And then started growing up, I started getting into a lot of the 80s, 90s. Remember the movie boxes? Like they sold the movie more than the actually movie itself. So I used to watch like the old Sword and Sorcery fantasy, Boris Vallejo, Julie Bell. And that's really what got me like this is some really cool stuff. And that's really what pushed me, and still does.
Yeah. There's always especially the old video store days. Yeah, like the box art would be far better than the movie itself. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Allie, you hearing us okay now?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my computer today. Technical issues.
Who knows? Well, good to have you on here. So back to my question for you then. How did you get started with your art, and what was a primary influence for you?
So I've pretty much been drawing since I could hold a pencil. When I was little, I was obsessed with these books by this artist named Christopher Hart, and he had all of these how to draw books. Now he's really big into how to draw manga. But how to draw cartoon animals, all of that. I was just obsessed with them. And luckily, my parents were very encouraging, and so I always pursued it just for fun. Never ever expected to do anything with it. Then as I got older, started exploring Instagram and started coming across these artists that did fan art. I was like, man, that would be really fun to do that. It's funny because you look back at some of your older stuff and you're like, wow. But I just started posting more and more of it, and then eventually a couple of people reached out and asked me to do something for them, and I was like, why? But then I discovered that it's something that I can do that I enjoy and that other people enjoy, and it's taken off from there. I'm really influenced by Disney artists, especially. I've always been a Disney person, and so Tom and Tony Bancroft are two of like my personal illustration heroes, and I got to meet Tony last year, and that was a game changer.
Oh, that's wonderful. So that's actually, let's get some of your art up here just to show off. Starting with, since we're talking about it here, start this one image there, a nice Joker image here. I like this here.
Thanks. I usually stick to cartoony, but I decided to give it a shot and try to go for something a little more realistic because I was obsessed with the Kill the Justice League game that came out, Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
that had some of the coolest artwork and coolest characters.
Yeah. And so one of my personal favorite pieces that you shared here, just because I love Memphis, You know, so but yeah, I love the oh god, what they call it, paper dolls. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, this is really really cool.
I'm not sure if she shared it yet, but I actually just finished another one for her with just her Bride of Frankenstein stuff.
Oh,
It's
that's awesome.
yeah, it's really fun. I was so excited when she contacted me again. I actually did some for Kelly and Crayley too. I don't think I sent those to you, but
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they
Oh,
have their own paper dolls as well.
that's fantastic. It's kind of like having your own action figure, you know. Well, going back to you, Jonathan, here. So, yeah, so let's see some of the art that you've shared with me here. So, first off, of course, you do a lot of like movie art, a lot of superhero stuff, and of course, we got to start with the Gremlins here. Love love this one here, and just I love your shading. It's very dynamic, very kind of a very classic, almost kind of like a Drew Struzan sort of thing like that. So when you said the movie poster influences, I was like, okay, yeah, I can totally see that in your work.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I love shadow work. I just something about it, the depth and 80s, man. I'm still stuck in the 80s, early 90s. I can't help it. Anything around that genre, just like when somebody asks me like, "Hey, I want to get you to do this," I get so excited. I'm like a kid, and
Mm-hmm.
so this is it's really neat.
Oh, Ernest, love that. And of course, yeah, I love me some B movies and the drive-in fare and yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's a classic in my eyes. So, you know, yeah, that's right up there with like Gone with the Wind. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so both with basically both of you all. And of course, Jonathan, I see from a lot of your social media, you do a lot of conventions. Allie, do you do a lot of shows as well? A lot of conventions.
I'm getting started on it. I did my first one last year. It was a super small one in my hometown, but it was so fun to connect with people, and I would really like to start doing that more. But yeah, I signed up for it again this year, so I'm excited to kind of dip
Awesome.
my toe into the water.
Awesome. So, what's been basically, you talk about the getting to meet people, getting to make connections with people. What has been kind of a benefit of that? Because obviously you get some exposure to that. So, what's been a benefit for both of you all? Allie, you first, please.
Really just getting to connect with people that share the same interests that you do and geeking out about it. Like I'm a big Has Been Hotel fan, and so talking about the upcoming season last year at the convention was really exciting. Everybody would share their theories, and you end up meeting some really interesting people who end up knowing some people, and that's how you end up making connections and getting your name out there. So yeah, I just really love getting to geek out with other people at these conventions and finding out what we like. And it's really fun.
Excellent, Jonathan. What about you?
I love to. I don't know. Anybody who wants to stop by, they want to show me their artwork, and when they say that maybe I had an influence in that kind of encourages me. It inspires me to push harder and to know that I've made a difference in someone else's life. So I reckon, I've met a lot of people over the years, but I think that right there is the biggest influence for me is seeing other people.
Nice. Yeah, and of course, you got to rub elbows with some famous people as well at those conventions too. So that's been kind of fun.
It's a little surreal. You're like, oh my goodness, am I really talking to this person? And when it's just once you get back or get away from it, you're like, it doesn't seem real. Most of the people have been really nice, and I love it. I love it. It's just been a great experience.
Excellent. So, Allie, let's talk about kind of your process. So, let me go. Another image I love here. There's like it's like this Little Red Riding Hood or Beauty or
It is actually Holly from Stranger Things. In
oh,
this last
okay,
season,
yeah,
had kind of like a Red Riding Hood vibe going on, and so
yeah,
I
okay,
love
yeah.
love what they did with Holly this season, and so I had to draw a little tribute to that.
So what is your process when you're doing, like, do you mostly work with paints, or what kind of medium, what kind of process do you have?
It's funny, I actually got started with watercolors and that's all I did for a while, but I've since moved on to that. And so for bigger pieces like this, I like to start with alcohol markers and I use them for the big patches of color because that's the easiest to lay down a watercolor. But then I always go in later with colored pencils to do the details, and that adds just like a little bit of extra dimension to the work.
Hmm. Yeah, I say this is, of the pieces you share with me, this is probably, I think, one of your best pieces. It's like, you could definitely, your Disney influence is there, but like as a comic, appreciator, like this is like equal parts Jenny Frison and like Rose Besch right now for me. This is really, really cool. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I just thought it was such a cool concept, because she has like that Red Riding Hood vibe, but instead of the big bad wolf, it's Vecna. So I tried to like draw those vines coming in behind her, which are
Yeah.
shockingly hard to render because they're both like slimy looking and kind of plant like.
Hmm.
So that was a challenge, but yeah, I enjoyed working on this piece.
Oh, yeah, that's really, really cool. And of course, I love this one. I got to bring up old Chit.
Jay Renshaw actually liked and commented on it, and I was like, "That's it, I've peaked."
That's cool.
I think he said
That
something
is
along the
really
lines of
cool.
"Do it, lady." And I was just like, "Yep, I'm just gonna screenshot this, print it out." That's high praise right there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just you pack up for the day on that one.
Yeah, do it, lady.
Oh, that's really cool. I love it. So yeah, of course, like you do a nice blend of pop culture stuff as well. Is there something like a dream project that you have, Allie, that you would like to work on?
There are these cards, and I don't know if you've seen them. They're Disney Lorcana cards,
Oh yeah.
and they are so cool. And several of my artist friends have had the chance to do their own cards, and I would love, love, love to get to do that. And I've kind of like been making the connections I need to because there's a convention here in the South called Animation Y'all that I went to
Hmm.
for the first time last year, and that's where I got to meet Tony Bancroft, and it's coming up again this year. And apparently, a lot of the people that scout for those projects come to those events, so I'm excited to kind of get in there and be like,
Fingers.
"Hey, nice to meet
Yep.
you."
Yeah. Fingers crossed. That is so
Kind of
cool.
like work myself in there because that would just be such a dream project to have my name attached to something Disney.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking at some comments here. There's whatever. There's some random comment that has nothing to do with our show here. So, but let's see. FNAF says, "Hey, how you doing here?"
Hi.
And William Brand Huff says, "Jonathan is the celebrity." Oh, that's cool. Pshaw. All right. So, Jonathan, of course, we've seen your art, shown up here. But aside from just doing like the portrait stuff, you also do comic book stuff too, don't you?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, right now, I think I just got finished doing one called oh my gosh, it was by Charter Comics. It was the
Hmm.
doll man, excuse me, and it was really fun. I've worked with Ethereal, like I say, Charter, Dynamite. It's quite a few. It's been definitely interesting. So I've got another project I'm working on right now. I can't talk about, but it's going to be a 4 issue series. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully one day we'll get into into Marvel or DC, and we'll just see what happens. But right now, I've been blessed, and it's been a fun experience.
That is good. Yeah, it's got to be a little bit different because I mean, obviously with comics, you've got several obviously deadlines you have to deal with. But it seems like there's different processes for the indies. Like there's some companies that want you to do the whole thing at once, and then they'll release it month to month. And then there's others that basically they still work on a month to month schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Um.
So.
Yeah. I've been very lucky. They've contacted me ahead of time and gave me enough time to actually do the project. And it hasn't been overwhelming or I've been pressed for time. So everyone has worked with me really, really well, and it's meant a lot. So if you're watching, thank you very much.
That's
It's got to be such a cool experience, kind of bringing that universe to life too. Something that isn't out there yet, and kind of getting the reins and the control to make that. That's got to be really cool.
It is. Sometimes I have to pull back myself because, like, okay, I'm going too far. All right, so usually 90% of the time they allow me like free range to use creativity, and Allie, is you as an artist, if they allow the artist to use some of their creativity, you're going to get a better experience.
Yep. That's 100%. So stepping away from basically from work, from art, and everything, Allie, what's a big passion for you outside of your art? Something else that really kind of drives you, keeps you going?
Well, it's going to sound really random, and it is in a way, but I'm a big Elvis fan. And so I have a blog where I interview Elvis tribute artists, and that has been so much fun, connecting with all of these other Elvis fans. And the Elvis documentary Epic just came out, and so we've all been talking about that. So it's really funny being both from a comic fandom and now in this Elvis fandom, and how similar everybody is. Like, we'll all get together and geek out about it, and it's been really fun. So yeah, I actually spend a lot of time talking to Elvis tribute artists. Yeah,
that's
a little bit of
a
different thing from the art here, but.
Well, how did you get involved in that? Because obviously you're young. You were probably weren't even born by the time Elvis was passed away and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so how did you get into Elvis?
I am a third generation Elvis fan. I have loved Elvis my whole life. My parents, my grandparents. I grew up with the records, so the man has just always been there. But it was about 10 years ago I got to see some tribute artists perform in person, and let me tell you, when somebody walks out on the stage and they look like young Elvis, and you're like, I am seeing this in person, that just really reignites your love for the person. And yeah, so Elvis has always been in my life, but it's only the last 10 years that I've really become a big Elvis fan.
Nice. Yeah. So you you didn't even have a chance. Yeah.
I've been listening to Elvis and Barry Manilow, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, growing up, my mom was she was a big Barry Manilow fan as well. And my grandmother, she liked Elvis, but she only liked his gospel stuff. She didn't like the rock and roll, all that sort of stuff. But no, Elvis gospel, Elvis Christmas stuff, you can play that and she's fine.
Definitely. Yeah, I hear that a lot. There was actually somebody I talked to, and they grew up in the Catholic Church, and then they got into being an Elvis tribute artist, and I was like, is that allowed? He goes, well, we listen to the gospel in our household, and so that was my gateway to Elvis. And I was like, okay, that makes a little more sense.
Nice. Have you ever visited Graceland?
I have not, and I don't know why, because it's really not that far from me. It's just taking the time to make the trip, but it's definitely on my bucket list.
It's worth checking out. It is in all of its gaudy glory. There's the front room when you first get in there, it's entirely white. Everything is white. There's his lounge room in the basement, where the pool table area, everything's plaid, including the pool table. But then he's got like a movie room where he would have like reel-to-reels, and that was kind of like attached to. I mean, there's the jungle room. I mean, it's cool.
Definitely had a very unique sense of style. That's
indeed. I think the white room may have been for his mom too. I think that may have been for her. Of course, she had her own bedroom. You weren't on the tour. You're not allowed to go upstairs in the bedrooms. That's the one place you're not allowed to go. They show you everything else.
They will have to keep a close eye on me, because I'm going to be like a kid in a candy store in Graceland.
So,
Jonathan, what about you? What's a big passion for you outside of art?
Family. My family. When I'm not doing art, I'm doing that. I have just spending time with my family, my friends, which I've made over the years through the conventions and cons. They're considered family. So those guys. I direct theater. I'm very involved with the theater here in Selmer, Tennessee. Arts of McNary. I'm involved with them. I direct with them once a year. Oh my goodness. Big Tolkien fan. Love Tolkien. Trying to think of what else. I guess that's the majority of what I do when I'm not doing art. I'm making memories with that stuff. So
Nice. How long have you did the theater directing for?
oh my gosh, 10 years or longer, I guess. So we're coming up on a new season, so I'm excited to see that.
Any plays that you're jazzed about that you're all going to do, or can you talk about it?
Let's see. We're fixing to do The Odd Couple. Starting, I think they're starting rehearsals next week, so it's coming up pretty quick.
Nice.
So I'm trying to juggle that, and I've got conventions at the same time, and I'm trying to like how do I do this? So it'll work.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got to introduce the people to Neil Simon if they aren't already. So nice, love that. Yeah, my of course my sister and I, we both grew up in theater in high school, and my niece, who's 16, has got the bug big time. Like she's got an agent, like she's she's getting legit here.
Theater kid and drama club president here, so we're all on the same page.
There you go. Yeah, except
Oh, hello. I think I lost sound on you.
Okay, it's not just me this time. I lost sound on George too.
Okay, all right. I can hear you fine, Allie.
Yep, I guess it's George we lost. Gotta say, I'm a little relieved it's not my computer going on a riot again.
Okay.
I was like, does your mug say "May the Force be with you"? I love it.
Oh yeah,
I got a little raccoon mug from one of my favorite artists.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is adulting today.
check.
Hello.
Gotcha.
All right, anything now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, that was weird. I'm just going to unplug my headphones then.
I had to take mine out. I don't know if that was my issue, but since I've taken them out, it's been fine.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. We're having some internet problems here. So, anywho, let's get back to it. God. All right. But actually, we're going to take a quick station break here to remind you folks why we're actually here today talking about the Multiverse fundraiser, and we are supporting comic books for kids this year. So the scroll you see at the bottom of your screen there is where you can make your donations. And let's see here. Currently, our donation count, we're almost $700 right now. So
Nice.
we are on our way. Nice. So love that. Yeah. So yeah, Comic Books for Kids is just a beautiful organization. Mark Weiss is the chairman and CEO. And yeah, basically they deliver comic books and toys and little pop culture items or stuffed animals to kids in cancer centers and hospitals around the country. And they do it as basically they work with the hospitals. They do it anonymously. So the families themselves think this stuff's coming from the hospital. So they're not even aware of Comic Books for Kids and what they do. And then when people donate stuff that may not be appropriate for children, they have a sister donation called Comic Books for Troops. And they send that stuff to bases overseas or bases here in the States. So basically the troops get to have a little fun too. So there you go. All right. So Allie, let's go back to you here. So let's see here. Bring up one of your other images here. Yeah, I love this one here. Kind of like a little bit Harley, but a little classic pinup here too. I love this.
I love the pinup style. I think it's just so much fun, and so And I feel like Harley Quinn is especially a good character for something like that.
Absolutely.
I'm a big Harley Quinn fan. That was one of my first cosplays back in the day, and I've just always Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn and Supergirl, those were my two big ones.
Nice. So I've always heard like basically a fan divide for Harley for the styles. Like some people prefer the classic Harley Quinn, like we saw like in Batman the Animated Series, and then some people like the more modern day Harley, where she's kind of a little more, not to say trashy, but kind of like a little bit more fashion trash, for her style. Do you have a preference at all?
I like a blend of both. I think the original jumpsuit, of course, is going to be classic for a reason, but I like seeing that getting expanded into the newer fashion areas. I am very pro red and black, though. I've seen a lot of times the color gets changed to like blue and pink, and I mean, I don't dislike that because it is cool in its own right, but I do prefer that classic red and black Harley Quinn. I think it's very iconic.
Nice. Yeah, and of course, with the pinup style, like, obviously you still see some classic, pinup, that people do today, either photography or art. And then you got a little bit more of a modern day style. Would you like to see kind of a return to some sort of the classic, or do you prefer the modern, or again, do you like a blend as well?
I kind of like the tongue in cheek of the classic, like, always kind of the Betty Boop like expressions and stuff. I think there's just something so fun about that. And it's not necessarily like supposed to be over sexualized or sexy, but it's just kind of fun and flirty, and that's what I would like to see really come to the forefront again.
Nice. Yeah. Jonathan, going back to one of your pieces here, and of course, a little bit timely. You're Kermit the Frog. Of course, growing up, Muppets devotee. I mean, you couldn't avoid it back in the day. But yeah, we actually just saw a recent revival for the Muppet Show. They did kind of a one-off on Disney. Again, is there something kind of more you would like to get involved with that possibly, or at least kind of hope for the future for the franchise?
Oh, definitely. I watched the Muppets on Disney Plus at the same. I loved it. I was so excited. Jim Henson was one of my oh my gosh, I grew up with him. Actually, I just met Bryce Dallas Howard at the convention in Nashville Celebrity Con, and she asked for this piece, and I was like, I didn't know why, and like she's like, well, her dad Ron had actually did a documentary on Jim Henson, and just something there's something about it. There's I know we have so much the technology nowadays is so great, but just the imagination that there was with like Jim Henson and the puppetry and just the oh my gosh, the effects. That's just classic effects, and I loved it. I'm actually doing a Dark Crystal right now as we speak, and I'm tickled to death.
Nice. Yeah, I saw on your social media you're working on that. So yeah. Jim definitely is a big influence for me. I had the opportunity to meet Guy Gilchrist a few years back, and so Guy basically worked a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, but his big primary contribution for the Muppets lore was that he did the Muppet Babies comic strip for this entire run. And worked a lot with Jim. So he's kind of one of those like living connections still to Jim. So even like he said before, it's like sometimes people come up to me and all they want to do is talk about Jim Henson. They don't talk about me at all. But he's like, but I'm fully aware of why they're doing that, and I understand and agree.
One of my friends gave me the most amazing gift. It was a piece by Guy Gilchrist, and it's Miss Piggy as Supergirl, and she gave it to me, and I loved it because like she was like, I hope you don't take offense because I'm not saying you're Piggy, and I was like, no, that'd be like the highest compliment. I love Miss Piggy, and so it's like Super Piggy or something like that. I still have it, and it is just such a cool thing to get. I was blown away. We go to Metropolis a lot, which is the home of the Superman celebration, and Guy Gilchrist has been a guest there several times, and so she got that for me while we were there. I was like, oh my god.
That's really cool. So question for both of y'all, and you all can answer in your own way. have there been, what kind of challenges do you guys, see in your career, in your medium, or at least just in kind of the world, that you have to deal with, as it pertains to your art and your careers there? So basically, Jonathan, you want to go first this one?
Um, let's say, I think one of my biggest challenges is when I do a piece or when somebody asks for a certain project, they'll want, hey, could you do me a piece like Todd McFarlane, or which I love. I grew up with these guys. They're personal heroes and inspiration, but they wanted a piece like that, and if I can't do that, they don't want it. You have to stay true to yourself. So it's kind of hard to. Uh, I want to be me. I want to be my style, and you know that's really my biggest challenge. And I'm hoping every piece has a small challenge, because if there's no challenge in doing it at all, I mean, there's what's the point? There's got to be that challenge. Or
Yeah. So, Allie, what about you?
AI. Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Kelly. I wasn't sure if Della cheered on me. I loved working on those with her. That was so much fun. Bride of Frankenstein. It's just so cool. But yeah, one of the biggest issues that's come forward is AI. Because I had somebody message me for a commission, and when I gave them the price, they said, "Well, why? I mean, I could just put it in AI." And I was like, "All right, sorry, go for it." And they were like, "I can just put your work in, and it'll look like yours." And I was like, that takes the heart out of it, and it just sucks, and it's going to become more commonplace because, I mean, you see it every day, all the AI profile pictures and the little cartoon people, and I believe AI does have its use as a tool, just not as the whole thing. Like, for instance, there's a website called This Person Doesn't Exist, and that is a great place to use reference photos when drawing, because it's not real people, it's kind of combinations, and so that way you're not actually like drawing a real person in your work. So it has its place in tools, but also, like, I think that was like the meanest thing to say to someone is, why would I get it from you when I could just, put it in a prompt with your style and get something that looks like yours.
Yeah.
So that's going to unfortunately become more and more of an issue, but it takes the heart out of it, in my opinion. Like, sure, it might look kind of the same style, but you're not getting that human touch and that heart.
Allie, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great answer. I wish I'd have thought about that. That you hit the nail on the head. I connect with that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like the same thing of like, asking a chef, like, well, make me a Big Mac, and then like, okay, and they make their own version. Like, no, just go to McDonald's, and just bring. I was like, no, it's like, it's cheating. Like, why didn't you just do that in the first place? Why are you bothering this person? Or so yeah, but you're right though, Allie. It's a tool. It's not a medium. So yeah, but yeah, it's something I've tried. I mean, as a writer myself, I've tried to stay away from it entirely, just because you don't want anything to cloud any influence or anything along those lines. So, yeah. Matter of fact, even the Muppet Show, the new one we were just talking about, it was accused of using AI in the show. It turned out it was false, but somebody accused of using AI. I'm like, it's puppets.
And that's another issue I've seen with a lot of my friends, is people will comment on their stuff and be like, that's AI. And so then it's automatically like, if something they deem is too good or too this or too that, it's AI. And then it's almost like you're in the court of public opinion and you have to prove, no, it wasn't, I did this. You shouldn't have to do that. And I hate that that's become such a thing, because now people are almost like demanding proof that you made this. And I get that, because I mean, like, if you want to commission a piece, you want to make sure it's not something computer generated, but at the same time, it's kind of disheartening and exhausting as an artist when people are constantly like, oh, that looks too good, this is AI. Or it's like, I don't know if I should be insulted that you've said it's too good, or it's just like a constant having to prove yourself and prove to your audience that, yes, I, a person, created this. And it just sucks. You shouldn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. for artists, basically, obviously, having a fan base, having a following is important, but support as well is very important. Jonathon, you said, family is an important thing to you. What kind of levels of support do you get from your family? Like, basically, especially with like your, traveling so much with doing conventions.
Oh my, they somebody is going with me. I've been doing this for years now, and like there's somebody from my family is going with me. Like I say, we have a convention. I think in Brownsville next month, and my son, he's going with me. He's my right hand man. Um, it's great, and like I recently had a con in let's see. So I'm looking off. I'm looking and I'm trying to backlog in my head. Rocket City in Huntsville, Alabama, in January, and I had to go by myself. And I'll be honest with you, I was lost. I didn't. I like I don't know. There's such a major support, and I don't know what I'd do without them. Say lost, I guess. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. Allie, what about you? What's your support system look like?
I have, like I said, super supportive parents, and I'm so appreciative that they've always encouraged me to do this. And I am disabled from long COVID, and so I do have my own health challenges and stuff. And so having my mom come with me to these events, like I've done craft shows and like that first Comic-Con last year, that was just such a big help. Because I mean, you figure you're just sitting at a table all day, you don't think it's going to be that exhausting, but talking to everybody and running around both sides of your table, and
Mm-hmm.
not only like if you have to use the bathroom or get something to eat, somebody has to watch the table, and so it's always really good having those people with you and those people that'll support you. And yeah, I've been fortunate to have awesome parents that are super supportive, and I've made so many artist friends that are as well, and that community is so important.
That's awesome. Yeah, bless your heart with the long COVID. Yeah, a good friend of mine, his wife had a horrible, almost 2 year battle, with long COVID and a lot of respiratory stuff. So yeah, she's good now, but it's like, man, that's some rough stuff folks had to go through.
Yeah, I still struggle with it. It's been, I can't believe it's going to be 6 years now, but especially being in my 20s. So I got it when I was like 24, 25. And so
Mhm.
that's just been a huge impact. But I will say the only good thing that came out of it was that I got to spend more time focusing on my art, because that's one of the only things that I felt like kept me sane is, focusing on drawing and enjoying myself and getting to really explore the medium. And so that was the silver lining that came out of it. So it, was a horrible thing, and it's still something I deal with, but I've gotten to branch out more and do more with my art, and so I do have to be appreciative of that.
Yeah, I hear that. So yeah, it's kind of almost like a saving grace, but maybe it was meant to be at the same time. That's. Phoenix Sisters got a comment up here talking about our AI discussion. Whoops, there. Discussion earlier. Oh, there we go. My touch screen. I tell you what. It says it's a catch-22. If you make a mistake, it's AI because of the mistake. If you do really well, it's AI because it's too good. So frustrating. So yeah, that's 100%. So. And of course, I work for a comic book store here in E-Town, and there's always the discussion for AI when it comes to art as well, when it comes to writing. There's been a few comics that there's one particular comic for a small press that actually was created entirely by AI, and the art shows. Uh, and then there's been a couple of other artists over time recently that have been accused of using AI as well because they work a lot in digital medium. So it's something that's very prevalent, and there are definitely the folks who don't like it make it really well known, and basically it's I can understand it. Basically, you're kind of protecting art. It seems. I don't know. What do you all think about that?
Um,
You go
I
ahead,
think
Jonathan. I'm
it's
still trying to come up.
no. Go ahead, ladies first.
It's just, it goes back to that. It would be such a good tool if people would just leave it as a tool, but when it becomes everybody's reasoning of you're succeeding because it's AI. It's just, like I said, that just sucks. And it's so hard because you want to grow as an artist and you want to show your stuff more, but then you run into that risk of getting that backlash because it's AI, or people taking your stuff and putting it into AI. And it's just, it's a vicious cycle. And like I said, it could be something so great and it could be such a great tool, but unfortunately it does not get used that way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. So, all right. So going back, talking about your all's art here, let's get to something much nicer here. Of course, Jonathan, one of your pieces here, another one you share with me here, got to go with the Grogu here. So is there basically a particular character, because I mean, there's, quite a variety of stuff you shared with me here. Of course, you've got your Adam West Batman here. More recently, your Wolverine. It was the fun thing too was like following your social media and seeing the development of this piece in stages. So that's to me, who's not an artist but appreciates art. That's very interesting to me. So thank you for sharing that process. I appreciate that. But is there a particular character that like you haven't got around to doing, or and want to, or maybe is there at the same time where there be something that you avoid doing, like maybe someone's asked you for a particular character, like that's not really my style, or or anything like that?
Actually, after doing the Wolverine, I was not open to doing a bunch of the Marvel characters until I did the Wolverine. I'm like, wow, I like this. I would do more Marvel characters, or so it was definitely opened my eyes to the characters themselves. So I'm open to more of those. As far as like stuff that I don't do, I don't. Excuse me. I don't do memorials. I can't. When I was younger, I suffered through like a pretty bad depressive state, and art was my way out. It was my I reckon you could call it my prescription through those trying times. As far as me doing like memorials, it's not that I'm saying that I'll not doing it for them. I just can't do it for my own mental health. So I try and stay away from memorials because you're staring at someone who is hurt for hours upon end, and it's just not good. But as far as that, I'm open to pretty much a lot. So
nice. And Allie, same question for you. Is there something that you want to do, that you're like a character or a style that you want to do that haven't yet, and then basically anything that you would pass on?
Because I really like doing the fan art, and I mean, I would love to eventually do more with that professionally, but that's not really also a professional venue necessarily. But
Sure.
sometimes I love seeing like the alternate comic covers that come out. There's an artist I love named Chrissy Zulo, and she has a very unique Disney-ified style, and she's one of my influences. And so occasionally she'll get to do an alternate comic cover for something, and I think that's just so cool. I would love to do that. But it's funny, Jonathan mentioned the memorial art, because I got my start doing pet portraits, watercolor pet portraits, and so you run into that a lot. People being like, this is my beloved dead pet. Can you please, paint it for me?
Yeah.
It's always, I'm a big animal lover, so like I want to do that for people, but it's also like, man, this is hard. Especially when you get a message afterwards that says, you made my wife cry. And I'm like, I genuinely don't know how to take that. Like, I'm sorry, and also you're welcome. Like, like I don't know what you're wanting from me here. I'm sorry I made you cry. Glad you liked it. But yeah. So those are difficult, doing things like that justice that are going to be very, very important and personal to somebody. Yeah, I've gotten that so many times. You made me cry, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're eliciting emotions, but maybe strong emotion.
I'm like, I genuinely don't know how to respond when someone messages me and says like, you made me cry, or you made my sister cry. I'm like, you asked for it, you want to, like, yes, it's always a catch 22 because I'm glad I can do that for somebody, but also it's very hard emotionally, especially being someone that has lost a pet because I know how much that means to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I don't love doing those as much anymore for dead pets. That's definitely hard. Alive pets, sure, yeah, I'll draw a picture of your living animal.
And you just hang on to it, for a long time after the pet is perhaps gone. And there now it's a memorial. So there you go. Yeah. My wife's a high school teacher, and we had a cat pass away several years ago that we had for 16 years. And as a gift, one of her former students' father, who's a painter, made a portrait for our Lucy. And I mean, we didn't know it was coming, and it was just a wonderful surprise, a wonderful gift. So yeah, there's definitely an upside to it, but then yeah, you also like, oh, this is I don't want to disrespect, this, the beloved, creature or anything like that. So yeah, I can see that. Uh, Question here for both of you all here. Every artist, whether it doesn't matter what medium you work with, has got a method or a kind of a space they like to work in, whether you got music playing or you want dead silence or whatever else. So, Allie, what kind of space do you like to work in when you're creating?
I absolutely cannot have silence. There's got to be a TV going or music going or something. I'm not somebody that has to be like in a specific headspace to do it. I mean, like I will draw on the couch, I will draw on my bed, at my desk, wherever. But there's got to be some background noise. Otherwise, my brain is just going to wander off from the project, and I will never return. It's got to be something to kind of make that white noise in the background.
Jonathan, what about you?
I am actually the same way. I've got to, if I'm doing a character like let's say Gremlins or like the Killer Clowns, I'll have that playing, or I'll watch it and then I'll have it playing in the background to give myself I'm connected to the piece I'm doing. So it's there's a lot more. I'm not just sitting down, picking up a pencil and start drawing. I'm trying to get more a part of what's going on with the.
I gotta say, Jonathan, I was admiring the pieces that George put up, the hands on your characters, because that is something I will struggle with for the rest of my life, is drawing hands. Yeah, that's what I was like, man, those are
Allie, I still struggle with it. Hands are they're. You said it. You said it when it's they're difficult all the time.
So like especially this karma piece, I was just staring at the hands, going, "Man, those are nice hands."
Why is that? It basically, again, coming in as an amateur, why are hands? I hear that a lot from artists. There's certain artists who have challenges with certain physiology of whatever else. So why are hands difficult?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's you can tell if you get a finger off or something, or if you get a thumb that's not supposed to be at that angle. I think now if I'm doing like creature hands or something, you have that room to stretch the imagination with them. But when it comes to people, oh my gosh, it's a challenge sometimes.
I think it's one of the smallest, easiest things that makes your work look weird. Like, like it's such a small detail, but you will immediately notice, like in a portrait, if somebody's hand is messed up, because your eyes will just go straight to it.
Exactly, and if you can't get it, I've seen like when I was like when I first started out, I couldn't get this hand right. So you would have a branch going across it, or a piece of hair covered. So you'd.
Yep. So yeah, Phoenix Sisters makes a good comment here. Yeah, there's so many directional joints that only move one way, and they're all so close together in hands. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, in one hand, I mean, you've got so many joints for each finger, and you have to make sure every single one of those looks normal. And if you have just one of those off, it throws off the whole hand, and then the whole thing is just off. Yeah, I hate doing hands.
Oh, so on the reverse, is there a part of the body that's simple to do that basically that you guys have no trouble with at all?
For me, no, I still struggle with all of it.
I am infatuated with eyes. I love drawing eyes, or I love painting eyes. I love it. If I could just like create eyes all day, I would be in heaven. I actually love just that whole window to the soul thing that they talk about. I
Yeah.
really believe it. There's so much
Yeah.
emotion. I mean, you don't even have to see the face or the rest of the face. You can tell if they're angry or sad or happy, or just there's so much.
Yeah, I thought
Especially in
this
an
was a
art
really
piece,
good.
those eyes make or break the whole portrait because you get that feeling and that emotion. And yeah,
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, and kind of going back to one of your pieces there, like this Joker here that you did, Allie. Like, yeah, like the eye, like it's the shading adds a little bit of like still some menace and some creep to it, but it still has your cartoon animation style to it as well. It's like I think you really kind of nailed it as like like you're doing a Joker, but it's your style of Joker as opposed to you doing someone else's style of Joker. So I think you really nailed it on this one there in particular.
yeah, style is still something I really struggle with, and it pretty much changes by the day. A lot of artists talk about their journey to their specific style, and I'm still very much on that journey because one day it'll be super cartoony, and the next day I'm trying more realistic, and so I'm still trying to exactly figure out where my style is, but it's always changing and always evolving. But I do try to have that cartoony undertone.
Nice, nice. Well, we're actually getting close to the end here. So before we wrap up, how can we see both of you guys either social media, see what you're up to, and where we can actually see you in person? So Jonathan first, if you want.
Okay, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. On TikTok. I'm still working on it. Have patience with me. I've got my kids like teaching me how. They're guiding me on how to do the TikTok. So I will be in Brownsville next month, and then I have comics for kids or superheroes for kids that will be in Missouri. Then we have
Are you one of Heroes for Kids?
yes, I am. Are you going to be there?
No, I used to work with them. That was one of the things I did for my
Really?
Supergirl
Oh,
costume.
they're
Yeah.
amazing people, just full of heart. And I'm excited. I really am excited. Actually, doing an exclusive for them for Batgirl, so she's going to be there. So it's gonna be fun. Then let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. We got in August. We got Smoky Mountain Terror, and we got West Tennessee. So that's so far. So
Awesome. And Allie, what about you? How can we keep up with you?
You can follow me on Instagram at AMW Art and Design. Occasionally, I remember that I have a TikTok and use that, but not as often. Yeah, I'm not doing a whole lot of in-person events in regards to art, but I will be posting stuff there as I work on it, and I'm picking up more commissions. I really enjoy doing custom characters to kind of plug some of the commission stuff that I do. I have a friend that does D&D, but he does it with different themes, and so he's had me do some of his characters, and that's really fun
Nice.
for me. So I will be working on stuff like that and sharing it. Of course, like Del Memphis paper dolls and all that stuff. But yeah, so less in person for me, but I will be chronically online.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, outside of your all's respective arts, basically for 2026, is there anything in particular you're really looking forward to? Like like a pop culture thing, a personal achievement, anything along those lines? Allie, you first?
Animation, y'all, is coming up, and that it was such a game changing experience last year. I met some of the biggest people from the Disney industry. Like I met people that have drawn my childhood. Basically, I met the guy that's animated every Disney princess from Ariel onward, and that was so cool. And this year, I've had the opportunity. I signed up for a master class from Aaron Blaze, who has huge, huge Disney resume, and he was one of the
Mhm.
directors for Brother Bear. I mean, he's pretty much anything you've watched growing up. He's had a hand in it, and so
Yeah.
I'm going to have the opportunity to take one of his in-person master classes, and I am so excited to do that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Jonathan, what about you? What are you looking forward to this year?
Let's see. I've actually got a movie poster coming out this year. It's an indie film that I'm working on, and an album cover, which is a whole nother direction. I'm excited to test the waters on that. So that's supposed to be coming out this year. So I'm excited.
Excellent, man. Branching out. I like it. I like it. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you both very much for being here and sharing your morning with us here. Definitely a pleasure to talk with both of y'all here. So, and of course, we are definitely here to raise money for comic books for kids this year, because this is the Multiverse fundraiser. So there is a lot more to come this afternoon. But you're going to see this face probably later on too. I think I got some interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm not done today. I've still got more work to do. But again, thank you both so much for joining us here. I appreciate you. And we're going to wrap things up with a word for our friends, Comic Books for Kids. So again, thank you all very much. You all have a great day.
You too.
The Multiverse Fundraiser is partnering with Comic Books for Kids to raise money for their cause. Their mission is to provide comic books to children in hospitals and cancer centers across the United States, Canada, and the UK. We believe in the importance of providing stories that promote hope and bravery to kids who are facing things that are scarier than any supervillain. And we truly believe in this cause. To donate, you can either go to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/The Multiverse Fundraiser, or directly to comicbooksforkids.org.
The Multiverse Fundraiser would like to thank our sponsors: Earth Dog Studios, Clobberin Comics, The Art of Brian Rodman, Studio Moonfall, Elusive Comics, and of course, the Phoenix Sisters Entertainment Network for hosting this event. Learn how to support these businesses on the MVFR website.